I tell you what, I bet you the Viet Cong, who we black people, not me, I wasn't fool enough to go, who those who help fight, I bet you the Viet Cong is more citizens and can come here and put on a little suit and get more freedom to move in neighborhoods and put up business where Negroes can.
I believe that.
No, that's not right.
I believe that.
They're under a dictatorship just like the Russians.
The Japanese can, the Germans can. Everybody that's not American can go and do what Negroes can do. So quit being hypocrites on this TV. Well,
reparations from slavery and black victimization is about to be shoved down our throats for the most wretched holiday in America. BLM raised millions. But what did they do for black lives? It is outrageous to see people asking for reparations even though they never went through slavery. These ungrateful people should be celebrated because they were born in the greatest nation to ever exist. Here's a tip. If you don't like America, get the fuck out.
The issue of slavery reparations is coming up. There's a meeting of the Commonwealth leaders next week. Should we pay slavery reparations for our imperial past?
No, absolutely not. Look, we are...
Greetings from the east to north to south, and this wicked as west. The topic, the case for reparations. The questions, why do you think these people don't want us to receive no form of reparations? Let's get into it. I am your host. I am the one.
Okay. Now, one thing that really disturbs me the most is when these immigrants come over to America and they tell us what we don't deserve. One of the things that the woman was talking about, of course, she come from Colombia, South America. I think her family migrated over in like 2009. What give her the right to tell us that we don't deserve reparations? And she just came off the boat. And with a straight face, that devil, the devil that she is going to tell foundational black Americans that they don't deserve reparations. Mind you now, she just come off the boat. Just come off the boat. And she's going to tell us what we don't deserve. And then with a straight face, she'll say, if you don't like America, leave it. Number one, we've been here since the foundation of this country. Since the beginning, we was here already. We didn't come over in 2009. My ancestors and every single black American, foundational black American ancestors fought, died, and built the country. And you just come off the banana boat and you're going to tell us to get the out? Are you serious? You can't tell us a damn thing. You're not qualified. You're not qualified to tell us a damn thing. Now, the holiday that she was talking about was Juneteenth. With this devil, she's going to come across and say, it's a what type of holiday she was saying? It's an unworthy holiday? With a straight face, go back to Colombia. You piece of, well, you know what you are. Hey, I got a handful of clips. I'm not going to talk too long. Let's get to the next clip.
I've never owned anyone. My neighbors, as far as I know, have never been owned by anyone. But the people who say we don't owe any reparations for the Civil War are ignoring something really huge. Or maybe they just don't know. Some people already got reparations. White people. White enslavers were paid for losing their human property. The actual people who were raped, tortured, whipped, and sold, and worse, were promised land to get a fresh start after the war, but they got nothing. When slavery was abolished, Congress paid nearly $1 million, which is 30 million in today's bucks, to white enslavers as compensation for losing their property in a war they lost. If a freed person didn't hit the road fast enough, they risked being re-enslaved under new laws that were just workarounds for all these white people losing their slaves. After the Civil War ended, Union General Sherman set aside 400,000 acres of confiscated Confederate land for black families to start new lives on, up to 40 acres each. The Army loaned out mules to help them work the land. That's where the phrase 40 acres and a mule comes from. Black people were already working some of this land when Lincoln was assassinated and Andrew Johnson became president. Well, Johnson reversed the order. He gave the land back to the same Confederates who had just tried to destroy the country. The freed people were evicted. So they made all these things into crimes that were non-crimes. They were things like, if a black person didn't have a job, that was a crime. If a black person couldn't prove that they had a job, that was a crime. You could get arrested for that and a lot of other ridiculous things. But once you were in jail, you could be leased out as labor for private profit. This system of convict leasing allowed white landowners and businesses to replace slavery with something just as violent, just as profitable as slavery. No wonder there are still Confederate flags all across the South. Even after slavery was abolished, black Americans were not safe. Public lynchings became a regular threat. They were a form of terror used to keep free people in their place. They were planned events announced in advance so everybody could attend. They were held in broad daylight. White families brought their children to watch black people being hanged, tortured, brutally murdered. It was a festival. People sold food. There were postcards made. People could buy postcards of the mutilated bodies hanging from trees. And mail them in the mail or keep them as souvenirs. This country took care of Civil War criminals and punished the ones the war was supposed to free.
You know one thing, you will have to be a sick race of people to want to pose for a picture after you done hung somebody. How sick is that? Now, when it comes down to prison leasing, I got my number set up here. Prison leasing, it's, of course, the new slavery. The state of Maine, 2% black population. You want to guess what the black prison population is? 9%. Think about that, 2% of the state's population. And you're 9% of the prison population. Mississippi, 39% black, 62% of the prison population. Louisiana, 33% black population, 64% prison population. Ohio, 13% black, 45% of the prison population. Georgia, 32% black population, 60% of the prison population. Texas, 14% black. Of course, it's got the largest amount of blacks if you want to count numbers in Texas. But mind you, it's only 14% of Texas is the black population. Prison population, 40%. Let me go to my final clip, and I'll be back.
Most of us learned a distorted history of slavery in school. So as white Americans, most of us don't realize our connection to it. Here's a quick rundown of historical facts I had not been taught. That the North was deeply implicated, that slavery was legal in northern states for over 200 years, that Northerners up and down the economic spectrum made their livings in businesses tied to slave trade and slavery, that Northern mills processed cotton harvested by enslaved people. The Midwest and the West were implicated. They grew food to feed the South, where land was devoted to cash crops like cotton, harvested by the enslaved. Consumers throughout the country were implicated in their everyday purchases of clothing, coffee, sugar, rice, tobacco. People who immigrated from Europe after slavery were implicated. I have Irish, French, and German immigrant ancestors who came to the United States in the 19th century, worked in factories, struggled, but they were given access to the American dream. Why were waves of immigrants flocking here? Because it was the land of opportunity. Why was the economy booming? Why were there jobs? Because it had been built largely on unpaid labor. Once here, European immigrants got to systematically leapfrog over black families with devastating consequences up to the present day. So slavery built the nation.
I tell you what, I bet you the Viet Cong, who we black people, not me, I wasn't fool enough to go, who those who helped fight, I bet you the Viet Cong is more citizens and can come here and put on a little suit and get more freedom and move in neighborhoods and put up business where Negroes can't.
I believe that. No, that's not right.
I believe that. I believe that.
They're under a dictatorship just like the Russians.
The Japanese can, the Germans can. Everybody that's not American can go and do what Negroes can't do. So quit being hypocrites on this TV.
Well, where can't you go, Muhammad? And
okay, I'm one big nigga. I'm a nigga, got $10 million. I'm a great fighter, so I can go.
Well,
what's the answer, Congressman?
The answer is that, it's easy to sit back and call everybody else in the world a hypocrite. I'm not going to call anybody a hypocrite. I think everybody has a right to their own opinion.
Any white person in this artist, when I tell the truth, my people ain't nothing but a hypocrite. You take your face and your complexion to the White House and repay the black people for all the work they done, all the slaving.
Get down, brother.
Give them some land.
You know, when Muhammad Ali made that statement back in the 70s, this man right here, he's still in denial. One of the things that he always seemed to say is, oh, no, that's not true. This man can look at the truth. What man? This man right here. He can look at the truth right in his face, and with a straight voice, he'll say, oh, no, that's not true. Ali said immigrants can come to this country, especially the white ones, and leapfrog over the blacks, the foundational black Americans that's already been here. It was true in the 70s, and it's 2025 now, and it still rings true. Let me leave you with a final clip. If these people don't come to grips with their sins, they will see more of the Haitians fighting back. But now it won't only be the Haitians. It'll be the Most High God. Let me let you know my next video. The debt of America is the restitution of reparations that they owe the foundational black Americans. Let me say it again. They say this country is $34 trillion in a hole, according to them. Now, we're not counting like Medicaid and all those other things, which will push it over possibly 100 trillion. This is the debt that this man refused to pay. So therefore, you're going to pay reparations one way or the other. There's floods and storms, one after the next. And this is going to be your fate. Let me leave you with my final video. I am your host. I am the one.